Hello and welcome back to TGTV, and more specifically, ladies and gentlemen, you will notice that I'm not in a car park for a change. I've got my Carrera GT behind me and we are not going to the pet shop today in it. I got this car a number of months ago. Since then we've had a pandemic and I've literally just had it underground doing nothing. So I thought, what better way than to give you guys what it's all about than hire a track for the day, get a film crew and get my car out and about. So hopefully this is going to be a good video for once. This isn't a churn. I might actually be proud of this one. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. You join me in the Carrera GT, and more specifically, third to fourth here on an empty track. A very bewildering experience. I'm sat over here on the left-hand side with a 603 horsepower, 4.7 litre V10 engine in the back, and I can hear absolutely every single gear change. I can hear the suspension, I can hear the tyres on the road, I can hear the gravel underneath the car. Absolutely terrifying. So embarrassingly, this is probably the first time I've driven this car more than 50 miles an hour. We're currently doing 70 miles an hour here. This car really is unlike anything I've ever driven before. It's so visceral. You can hear absolutely everything going on. And if you get a gear change wrong, it lets you know about it. Right, we'll go down to fourth. Absolutely terrifying. Down into fourth here, up on the banked bit at the end of the track. Keeping it slightly pinned around here. A little bit of steady foot, never hurt anyone. It's hell, this thing is absolute hell. I'm very conscious that this thing lets go very, very easily. It does need new tyres. They're a little bit old, these tyres, so I'm going a little bit steady here. But I've got all my wits about me. It's absolute hell. Into a sweeping left. I am sweating in places I didn't even know I had sweat glands. And coming back out onto the home straight now. It's absolutely terrifying. Coming down onto the flat part then of this banked surface here at Longcross. Finding a late apex. I think I might have got that one wrong. Oh no, road straightening up. We're having it. We'll have that. On the anchors. Back down to fourth. Try and rev match a little bit. Oh. Find the apex again, back on the gas. I am hell in this thing. Who allowed me to buy this car? Who was it? Back on the gas again. On the brakes. In again. Find that apex somewhere in there. We'll have that. We'll have it. I'm claiming it. You can't see the road. And back out onto the home straight again. I don't know if any what have I just said made sense. My heart rate is through the roof. Now, comparisons. How can I compare this to anything I've ever driven before? It feels like the SV in terms of the weighting of the steering, in terms of kind of the visceral experience, in terms of the big old engine behind your head there, in terms of kind of the lack of usability. But you're kind of sat down more, your feet are kind of up against the front wall, and you've obviously got the 3 pedals. On the move, the clutch isn't too bad. It's absolutely fine. It's a really nice, well-weighted, solid gearbox, and you can find the gear very, very nicely and easily indeed. It is not a pig to move once you're on the move, but my God, I need some air in here. It's stress, excitement, fear of death, and outright speed all rolled into one. Now, if you bear in mind, the Carrera GT was first shown in 2002, 2003. 0 to 60 is 3.5 seconds. It's 603 brake horsepower. It's still not a slow car, but even by today's standards, even in today's power race, in terms of everyone racing to do 2.5 seconds to 60, it still stacks up. Let's hear that again. Listen to it. That is unbelievable. Sorry for being immature, everyone. I do apologise. Bit of blip. Oh. I did have every hope of making a very nice video where I talked to you about the car sensibly and didn't drive around like an absolute wally, but I failed. I do apologise. Time to have a little bit of sensible talk. We'll put that in fifth there. So, sensible stuff then. A lot of you are asking about the finances on this car. It's a question that always comes up. How much did this car cost? How much did it cost a month? How much did it cost to run? And all the rest of it. The price of this car was actually an undisclosed sum, but you can look on the market and work out what this car is. It's a UK solid black car with Ascot interior. It's done over 20,000 miles. It's done a few miles. It's not a garage queen car. It's a car that I can actually use and do my best to enjoy. So the price you can probably guess yourself, but it was a private sale. A clutch in this car is about 10 grand, and a small service is about 3 grand. A big service is about 10 to 15 grand. So it's not a cheap car to run, but you don't need to do a big service every year. So I'm safe in that respect. The monthlies on this car are £4,500 every single month, which is a little bit daunting, but not quite as daunting as driving this thing around and sweating my little nose off. Finance questions then. My finance brokers are called Charles and Dean. They funded this and they're funding a load of my cars as well as we speak. And the insurance is with First Point UK. I'm sure you've heard of both of those companies, but they really are top of their game, and they provide me with a level of service and level of cover you need for a car like this. But they also do the stuff like the Pista, the Turbo S, which is coming, or maybe has already landed by the time you've seen this video, and all the rest of it. I'll leave all their details below anyway. Insurance then is about 2 grand for the year, which I don't think's bad for a car of this value and a car of this relative danger. Obviously you've got parking, fuel, MOT on top of that. So it's not a cheap car to run. However, the values of these, I've been studying the market and watching the various graphs with various providers, the value of these cars is actually going up. It's bucked the trend. Most cars have been dipping recently, and some of the really kind of aggressive stuff has been crumbling at the top, even TDFs, for example. But these are actually going up. There's been a surge in demand on Carrera GTs. Now, I don't know what that is, but yeah, these are certainly bucking the trend. So might be quite a good time to get into one. I think, relatively speaking, they are actually quite good value. I'm going to come in now, get some air in the cabin, because I'm literally about to die. I do apologise for the state of me. It does have aircon, but aircon and GoPros don't work well together. How long am I going to keep the car then for? I'm probably going to keep it 5+ years, so it's a car I am going to hold on to. It's not a car you kind of blip in and out of, much like most of the other things I've bought. I'm now at a stage with my garage where I want to buy stuff that I can kind of sit in long term. I don't want to be buying stuff that I just kind of come in and out of. A, because that gets really expensive. B, it gets really boring. And C, it's actually kind of pointless just coming in and out of things. I'm now at a stage where I kind of know what I like and I know what I want. And cars like this, iconic cars, kind of cars that I had on my bedroom wall when I was a kid, this is the kind of thing that I now want. And I'm done with chasing the kind of horsepower race, the modern stuff, the SF90s, and all that kind of stuff that's now coming out. Valkyrie, actually, I'll leave alone. Valkyrie's proper. But all those kind of things with 900 brake horsepower, hybrid electric engine in them, all the rest of it, I'm done chasing that end of the market. So for me, Carrera GT, absolutely dream car for me. Maybe an F40 to join it next, but today was all about this car. Hopefully it gave you some sense of what it's like to baboon around a track in one of these on board with someone that has absolutely no idea what they're doing. I'm not a racing driver. I've never really done many track days, and I really don't know what I'm doing driving wise. So for an absolute Billy to be in one of these babooning it around, it's probably kind of a relatively novel thing on YouTube. Most people that have these cars, they've been driving around tracks all their life and they know exactly what they're doing, but it's probably the first time you've seen a Billy bashing around a track in one of these. Will I be doing more track stuff in this? Every now and again. I will baby it a bit. It's not a comfortable purchase for me, so I will kind of keep it babied a little bit, tucked underground, on charge, with a cover on it. It's now obviously got all this Topaz PPF on it, so it is good to go in terms of a bit of track work and a bit of stuff going on, but it's not going to get a huge amount of use. It will get gotten out every now and again, special occasions, but it's not going to be a daily driver, that's for sure, particularly not in London. Anyway, for now then, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of a little sortie out on track. It's at this point that I'd usually blow a raspberry and do that to the camera, but I'm actually going to finish with something a little bit nicer. So thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you all very soon.